There's a style of YouTube video that can compress months of trust building into a single 10-minute watch. The right viewer finishes one of these and they already feel a bond with you. More importantly, they're already thinking about how they can work with you. So if you're a brand new or really small channel struggling to get the right viewers to actually reach out, perfect. This style of video is literally designed to overcome that. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact 4-part structure that I mapped out after studying dozens of these so that you can make one yourself and start building a true bond with your future clients. You've probably seen videos like these floating around YouTube, titles like "What I Learned from Making 500 Videos" or "Money Lessons I Wish I Knew in My 20s." They can pull in a lot of views, and I always gravitated toward making this style of video. I just thought, they look fun and casual, and they seem way easier than having to write another how-to video or, having to research something. Because it's just putting stuff together that you already know. So a few months ago, I tried my hand at making one of these. So I sat down and I made a video where I shared about 20 different lessons that I wish I'd known at the start of my YouTube journey, thinking that was the whole recipe. Just tell little lessons wrapped up in stories. So I made it and I hit publish and it bombed. And I couldn't figure out why. The lessons were all solid. I stand by every single one of them. I'd lived all of it, but nobody really cared. So I went back and I watched a ton of the ones that actually did crush it to figure out what they had that I didn't. And I found my answer. The list of lessons isn't what makes these videos work. It's not really even the stories. The lessons are just one piece of it, right? The creators who were crushing it were doing 3 other things before and after those lessons that I was completely skipping. After breaking down the ones that work, I mapped the structure into 4 parts. I call it the bond video. B-O-N-D. Now, each letter is a section and each one has a really specific job. And the list of lessons is just one of those 4 parts. Deliver just the list like I did and the video falls flat. Get all 4 right and you build the kind of connection with a viewer that normally takes months. Real quick before we dive in, I did put together a free unlimited YouTube clients playbook that lays out the complete client getting system that this video fits perfectly into. So the link to that's in the description if you want to grab that. All right, but so now let's walk through what each part actually looks like. The first section is the opening, and its job is to make one big promise. Now, this is one specific loaded statement that keeps the viewer hooked till the very end so they feel like they'll miss out if they leave. So your first job here is to think about what kind of promise you can actually make with this video. Think about it, you went through something real in your career, you paid a price for it, and you came out the other side with a specific set of lessons that could save the viewer from, making those same mistakes themselves. That's your promise. It's not, hear my story, it's I'm gonna hand you the shortcuts so you get it right the first time. That's what keeps someone watching for 10 minutes, but you can't just open with that. A promise by itself isn't gonna land if the viewer isn't already feeling something. So before you deliver that, you need 2 things in front of it. The first is an emotional hook. You wanna make the viewer feel something before they think anything. Say you're a dermatologist, your hook might be something like,
"One mistake in my first year of practice changed everything about how I treat patients."
It's a statement that sparks enough curiosity to keep them watching. Or say you're in public relations, right? Your hook might be,
"One campaign almost ended my career, and it taught me every rule I follow today."
You can really feel the weight of that without knowing any of the specifics yet. And the second thing is implied credibility. And if you write your hook well, this happens all on its own. Notice how both of those hooks tell you something about the person without them announcing it. The dermatologist is practicing medicine, and the PR person is running campaigns for clients. You register that they operate at a certain level without them ever having to say it. So the credibility lives inside the hook, it's not bolted onto it. And this is gonna become really important in the next section, and we'll get to why in a minute. Then you deliver on the promise. One bold statement about what the viewer walks away with if they stay. And you would just say that by saying something like, "In this video, I'm gonna show you," or "Today, you're finally gonna understand this or that." It's the combination of emotion, credibility, and the big promise they can't resist that makes your future clients stick around to the next part, which is O, which stands for obstacle. Remember the emotional hook from your big promise that you opened with? This is where you tell the full story behind it. You know, a real moment from your career or from your life where something went wrong, or you hit a wall, or you were just in over your head. The kind of moment that taught you something that you couldn't have learned any other way. And the job of this section is pretty simple. By the time the viewer finishes it, that bond should be starting to form. Not because you told them about yourself, because you let them watch you go through something real. That's what compresses months of trust into just a few minutes. But this is also where most people tend to drop the ball, you know? Some people either make this part so polished and sanitized that there's no interesting story left behind it, and others go the opposite direction and turn the whole thing into a big pity party. And both of those mistakes will kill your video. A sanitized version that pulls the punch so that you get to look like you never made a mistake, it just falls flat because there's nothing real for the viewer to connect with. And then going overly negative to the point of them feeling sorry for you, that just repels the client that you're trying to attract, because no one wants to hire someone who's still, drowning in it. And don't get me wrong here, you don't need some kind of life-altering crisis to make this work. Any kind of ordinary professional stumble works here too. So a bad call you made, or a client you let down, a phase where you were doing everything wrong and just didn't realize it yet. It's not about how bad the moment was, it's more how honestly and specifically you can describe it. Okay, so the obstacle section needs 3 things. Specificity, which means real details, real numbers, the actual day, what someone said. Vague stories kill trust. Specific stories build it. You want real stakes, which means what you stood to lose and what you were actually scared of. And this last one may not feel good, but you got to include it. It's the unflattering part, the moment you were wrong or naive or in over your head. And remember what I said about including credibility in the opening section? This is where that pays off. So when you included that, you planted a seed, right? The viewer registered that you operate at a certain level. Now here in the obstacle section, when you show the full, unpolished version of that moment, the credibility doesn't disappear. It actually deepens because now they see someone who's clearly qualified and still willing to admit where they got it wrong. That combination is what gets clients to want to chase you. But if you skipped that credibility piece in the beginning, now you're just a stranger on the internet admitting they messed up. Vulnerability doesn't build trust without credibility behind it. That's why all 4 parts work together here. So how do you find your obstacle? Well, work backwards. Think about the lessons that you want to share in this video, the things that you know now that you wish you'd known sooner. Then ask yourself, what's the moment that forced you to learn those lessons? A lot of times there's one specific experience or time in your life that's behind all of it. That's your obstacle. Okay, up until now, the video has been mostly about you, and that's by design, because the viewer needed to feel who you are before they'd trust what you know. But now it's time to flip it. N stands for nuggets, as in nuggets of wisdom. These are the lessons that came out of your obstacle. This is where the video stops being about you and starts being 100% focused on them and what they need to know, do, or understand. And this is also the piece that makes the viewer walk away feeling like they got something real. And the format for this part is actually super easy. Just think of it like a list where you unpack somewhere between 5 and 10 lessons that came directly from your obstacle. Just run through them one at a time, and you can add a quick mini story on 1 or 2 if it helps the lesson land. But you definitely don't need to overstructure this part either. And again, the key is every lesson should be framed for the viewer, not for you. Not here's what I learned, but here's what you need to know. The point is you lived it so they don't have to. And that brings us to our last section where you direct them where to go next. Okay, so here's what's just happened. Over the course of the video, you didn't just teach the viewer something. You showed them your wisdom. So knowledge is knowing the right answer. Wisdom is what you get from going through it yourself. And your wisdom is what people want to pay for. They just need direction. So give them a clear verbal next step. Literally just tell them you would love to help them implement these lessons and avoid the problems that you faced. So click the link in the description to set up a time to talk. That's it, keep it short. Just remember to use the exact same tone as the rest of the video, because I want you to remember here, you're not pitching, right? You're just opening the door that they're already walking towards. So now let's talk about how to title a video like this, because I guarantee what you're thinking is probably not gonna work. The most common mistake with this style of video is titling it like it's a diary entry, right? What I wish I'd known about dermatology, lessons I learned in 8 years of PR. And yeah, big creators like Alex Hormozi or Ali Abdaal can do that. They have a big following and people already feel like they know them, so it works just for that reason alone. But if you're a smaller channel, they don't know you yet, so they're not really gonna care enough about your lessons you learned if you package it that way. The title has to frame the value for the viewer, not for you. So instead of what I wish I'd known about dermatology, try something more like 7 skincare mistakes your dermatologist won't tell you about. Instead of lessons I learned in PR, try the PR mistakes that can destroy a brand overnight. So if your story is the vehicle, their takeaway is the destination, and the title needs to point at the destination. So the Bond video is one of the most powerful tools you can put on your channel, but one video, no matter how good, isn't a full client getting system. But that's what my free unlimited YouTube clients playbook walks you through, the complete system that this video plugs right into. So click right here to grab the playbook. It really is the missing piece right now to making YouTube finally work for you this year. So click right here and it's all yours.